Hi guys, welcome back. So Steve Borthwick's first ever England squad is out. It's his squad for the 2023 Six Nations, and players will know that if they play well in the Six Nations, they have a great chance of going to the World Cup this year. So loads on the line for the players and of course Borthwick. Now also I've got to address kind of rumours that Borthwick had some restrictions on his squad here, the number of players he could change from the autumn squad to this squad. Then I heard rumours that it had been lifted, this restriction. Then I've kind of heard rumours that maybe it's still on. There's been no official word, so it's hard to know. So I'm just going to assume it's a normal squad where maybe it's not, but bear that in mind. Now the other big news is of course Eddie Jones has a new job, and it's with Australia, his native country. He's already coached them before to a World Cup final. Are they going to meet England again? And if they do meet England, it looks like it might be in the quarterfinals. If one of them finishes first and the other second in their pools, that could certainly happen. So that just adds a bit more spice to the up-and-coming World Cup. But with that out of the way, let's get into the squad. And the first names I've got to mention are the captain and vice-captains. Borthwick has stayed with Farrell. It's a big call. There weren't many other contenders, I don't think. Ellis Genge and Courtney Lawes, the other main contenders, are vice-captains, so they're his leadership group. But I don't think there were a lot of names in the hat for captain. And Owen Farrell is a good leader. But it does, of course, mean that if he's captain, it's unwritten, but he's going to start somewhere, either 10 or 12. So watch this space there. So I've sorted out the names in this squad into their positions, and loose head prop, we've got Genge, Rod and Mako Vunipola. Now Mako Vunipola's been playing fine for Saracens. Is he the player he once was? I don't think so. The big name missed out there is Rapava Ruskin. I thought we would see Val Rapava Ruskin in this squad, but no. He's only just come back to fitness, so maybe that's it. Genge looks like the obvious starter to me. Rod could be great, but he hasn't got there yet. Mako slightly on the decline maybe. So is it the strongest scrummaging trio? I'm not so sure. But let's get on to hooker, and George McGuigan is in. That is fantastic news. He is ready to rock and roll in international rugby, I think for sure. His skill set is right on, his set piece is right on, along with Jamie George. Those look like the two starting hookers, if you like, to me. And Jack Walker's been included as the third less experienced hooker, well, uncapped even, although he did play in that Barbarians game, and he did look very good there, even though England got pretty smashed. But I'm looking forward to seeing him. Definitely he's a big talent. Let's see if he can bring it onto the international stage. And to round out the front row, we've got our tight head props. It was a weak area, and the prop they brought in is Dan Cole. With Joe Hayes, not really found his feet in international rugby yet. Carl Sinclair still getting back to his best, although can certainly make an impact. Dan Cole looks a bit like a starter to me, so that improvement in the scrum that Borthwick is after could be on his shoulders. Can he do it? Into the second rows, and that's been slim pickings for England recently. Ever since the retirement of George Cruz, England have looked a little light in this area, certainly compared to other top teams. So let's have a look. We've got Ollie Chesnam, who I think could be a great second row for sure. Still early days for him. He's got 5 caps already. He's definitely bulked up already. Is he going to get there in time for the World Cup? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But he's certainly the shining light in that lineup, I think. Johnny Hill has had chances. He's had 19 caps. He's gone on an Alliance tour, but still doesn't quite look the finished article, although he's got the biggest frame of the lot. The new name in there as well is Nick Ezekwe, or he returns even. 8 caps already. Is he a world-class operator? I don't know. He's going to need to break through and show that in this tournament. Now for Maro Itoje, possibly a good chance to have a bit of a reset. The coach should get hold of him and say, don't worry about the whooping and hollering, just do your job. He definitely can be top quality when he does that. And it's a shame, I think, we don't see Dave Ribbons in there. I saw him as a starter. I saw him as the shining light of the new guys. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame. Let me know if you agree. Into the back row, and Tom's brother Ben is in, and he can do a very similar job to Tom. So quick on his feet, up and down off the floor so quickly, always in the action. I think he'd do great if he gets a game. Alex Dombrandt looks to me like the starting 8 of that lot. I just want to see him get a start every game, see what he can do. I think you'll be impressed with his skills. Ben Earl, the Form 7 in the Premiership, is in, so that's fantastic news. I wonder if he gets a start for his form. Certainly this squad has rewarded form, possibly more than some other ones. Tom Pearson though, we don't see Tom Pearson. That seems a massive shame to me. I'm sure he will be in the England squad at some point, but he's been absolutely fantastic. So that's a shame, although who would you drop? That's a tricky question of the 7s. Jack Willis is the other 7 in there, so you can't really argue over him. Maybe it was Ben Curry or Tom Pearson. But Jack Willis, although he's playing in France, can be selected because it's exceptional circumstances for the ex-Wasps players. Courtney Lawes, back to fitness just in time and straight back in. Been a crucial player to England for so long, so no surprise there. Plus his leadership, he should go over 100 caps soon as well. Now, instead of Ted Hill, who I really wanted to see Ted Hill of Bath. He's been playing fantastic this season. I think the other 6 in there is Lewis Ludlam, who's a really good worker, tireless worker, got some caps under his belt, although I think I would have selected Ted Hill over him. Let me know if you agree or disagree there. Then we've got Sam Simmons, who can play all across the back row, but looks like the second 8, and Jack Willis rounding it up. So a very strong back row combination there for sure to be had, but no Tom Pearson, no Ted Hill. That's a shame. And the other headline is no Billy Vunipola, but who would you select him over here? I don't think so, so I think that makes sense as well. Now on to the scrum halves, and there's a real mixed bag in between the reasons these guys might be in. Ben Youngs has been performing well for Leicester for so long, still performing well, but I just feel you need to move on from him and try some of these new young players a bit more, but he's been playing well, so fair enough, he's in. Ben Spencer, I think, is a little unlucky not to be in because I think he's been playing very well for Bath. Quirk's only just back from injury, so you can understand that. Mitchell's been the Form 9 for a couple of years now, although by his own admission not the best this year, but I think it's right he is in. And Van Portfleet's been playing pretty much second fiddle to Youngs for a while. Let's see what the pecking order is in England, but an interesting battle there for whoever starts, because I'm not sure which of those would start under Borthwick. And the fly-halves, you've got the captain Owen Farrell, so if he's going to play fly-half, he's certainly going to start at fly-half. Marcus Smith comes straight back into Harlequins in the Champions Cup with a bang, had a fantastic game, so that's good to see. In my previous video, in my selection, I did mention that Finn Smith and Charlie Atkinson are the 2 young 10s I would have in at some point, and Borthwick's gone for Finn Smith straight away, and dare I say, it's quite a good call for England if they do give him a cap, because it means he can't play for Scotland. That's the cynical side of me coming out there. I doubt it was the actual reason why he's in, but still, that's something worth noting. 4 centres in. 2 12s, 2 13s as I see it. No Ollie Lawrence, that's the big question there. Fantastic form for Ollie Lawrence, so he's got to be pretty gutted, but only space for 2 13s. I think Ollie Lawrence is a better 13 than a 12. Some are saying he is a 12, I'm not so sure. The 12s for me are Dan Kelly for sure, and Manu Tuolangi. On form, Dan Kelly looks like the starter. Tuolangi is there because he still offers something power-wise, and there probably isn't another 12 of his stature in the Premiership. Joe Marchant comes in with Henry Slade, 2 very good 13s. Similar in some ways, very skillful. Joe Marchant maybe slightly better running skills. Henry Slade maybe slightly better 10 skills, passing, kicking skills if you like, but both very, very skillful. I quite like the combinations you can get there, although very tough on Ollie Lawrence. On to the back 3 and quite a few changes. First of all, we've got May and Noel both out, the preferred wings from the autumn, so that's a massive change. No room for the big man Thokanasiga, who could be useful, but when you look at the names here, you kind of see why Borthwick's gone for them. Anthony Watson's not in. Maybe that's due to his injury profile, or if he's not going to be fit in time. No Radwan as well, and as some of you pointed out in the comments, Radwan is still very, very quick, but doesn't affect the game enough, hasn't had a fantastic year, so fair enough. The young Tommy Freeman is in, who's incredibly talented, plays well for Northampton Saints. Haven't seen his best for England in his 3 caps yet, but there's still time, or now is the time, shall we say. And the time has come for Ollie Hassel-Collins, who looks like a starter all over, looks like the best wing in the Premiership for a long time. Fantastic he's in. That would have been terrible if he wasn't in, but absolutely Borthwick saw his potential there, saw his talent in the Premiership. On to Max Malins, who's a very silky fullback winger, can play 10. Does he have the physical presence in the international game, speed-wise, power-wise? I'm just not sure about that. That's my concern there, but he's definitely got the skills and the nous for sure. Caden Murley's been a fantastic winger for ages for Harlequins. That makes sense. Very, very consistent for Quins. Let's see if he can get a cap. Freddie Stewart was always going to be selected, and I've put Elliot Daly in his own category as a utility back because he can play wing, fullback, all outside centre equally comfortably, and he had a fantastic last game in the Champions Cup, scoring a hat-trick which may have sealed his place in the squad if he wasn't in there already. He's going to be very, very useful in a wider squad, maybe on the bench if he's not starting. Anyway guys, that's my reaction to Steve Borthwick's England squad. Let me know all your thoughts down below, and I'll catch you next time.